Hello and welcome to season 3, episode 13 of the Prosperous Yogini podcast. Happy December. This is coming out after Christmas, so I hope you all had a good Christmas. I'm just feeling immensely proud of myself that I got these 2 episodes done in December. I feel like I'm having a last minute pre-Christmas blaze of glory here. So hopefully you've listened to episode 12, which was my 2025 debrief. If you haven't, go there first, because this is really a bit of a two-parter. I've decided to call this my 2026 vibes. I was like, should I call it? I'm definitely not goals. I'm not a goals girl. Nothing against you if you set goals. I've seen a lot actually out on social media, like, oh, I don't know why people are doing words of the year and set your 2026 goals and don't set your 2026 goals. Don't have a word of the year. Don't set intentions. Do set intentions. And I'm like, can we just please stop worrying about what other people are doing? Let people meet and greet the new year however is right for them. It's really interesting, actually, astrologically this year, because last New Year, we were in the depths of a Mercury retrograde. It was really slow, sluggish energy, and it really wasn't about moving forward. Whereas this new year, January, and particularly the first half of January, but January in particular is like the time to get going. Let's get ourselves ahead. Let's get the momentum ahead of February and March. And I'm just astrologically curious, by the way. Huge fans of Chani, got the Chani Nichols app, and a big fan of Pam Gregory on YouTube. But there definitely feels a bit of a different energy to January this year. Like I'm kind of ready to get going now. And it's not January, and you're listening to this after Christmas. I'm recording this before Christmas. So I've decided to call it like 2026 vibes. I was toying with 2026 intentions, 2026 vision, and I think there's a combination of factors here. One is definitely I struggle with this whole goal setting thing. From my experiences as a school teacher, if you don't know, because you might be new to the podcast, new to my world, I started off the first 12 years of my working life as a secondary school music teacher, head of faculty. I taught GCSE and A-level music. And within that, quite rightly so, we set goals and targets for the children, for them to achieve certain milestones, grades. And we were always encouraged to set aspirational goals. And that really was code for one grade higher than they were probably going to get. But it's a difficult one, because actually, if everything worked out, this is possible. And absolutely, you want to set the aspirational goal for that child to work towards. But so often it felt like you were setting yourself up and children up for failure, which we weren't. But in reality, it was an aspirational goal. Yes, sometimes they got that goal, and it was really important that we were aspirational in what we wanted for the children to achieve. But yeah, and music is a subjective subject as well, and one where children are performing, and one where things can go wrong. But listen, for those of you that have school-age children doing GCSE and A-levels, you'll have sat exams yourself. Like, our human nature gets involved with all of this, and sometimes we go wrong in exams, and sometimes, I'll be honest, a lot of the time exam boards do not mark things correctly or accurately, and there's a lot of I won't say PTSD, maybe that's a bit of an extreme word, but there's definitely, for me, when I think about goals and target settings, I feel it in my body. I kind of like, oh, that I don't want to bring that energy into my business. But there's a very fine balance between the doing and the not doing, the allowing and the having a plan. Like, if we were to go on a journey together, let's say, look, let's go on holiday, and I'm like, where are we going? Don't know. Let's see where we end up. Like, and there's absolutely no plan. We run the risk of meandering around in very bizarre places, not quite doing what we want to do. we may find ourselves in like amazing places and luck out. But at the same time, it's good to have a clear plan of, you know, what's the sort of things you'd like to do, what are the sort of things you'd like to experience, and then be open to what is coming our way. So this is like the dance between the yin and the yang, the dance between the masculine and the feminine, the dance between the doing and the allowing. And I'm always, as you know, guys, let the energy lead, but oh my God, my darling, take action. And we learn through doing. Manifesting, yes, the feeling is the secret, yeah, but unless you take action, and I feel this is for me, I've got written down here, and it has been inspired by, I heard something Pam Gregory say on a video I listened to a few weeks ago, and it just hasn't left me. So I feel like that was a message for me, taking action on our dreams to make the dream real. And that for me is the vibe of 2026, is taking focused action, being really, really clear, really, really intentional on what I do and what I don't want to do. So yeah, probably seen this through social media as well. 2025 was, in terms of numerology, a 9 years. So we're closing out this 9-year cycle. And 2026 is a 1 year, a new beginning. It is also the year of the fire horse, and 2025 is the year of the snake. 2025 was about shedding, just shedding the last of the stuff we've got to shed before we go into this 1 year, this new cycle. The fire horse, about momentum and moving forward. Now listen, it's not going to be all singing and dancing, right? There's still a lot of stuff in the world that is not right that we need to work through collectively to put right, to bring in, to call in the world where, you know, war doesn't exist, poverty isn't the thing, and regardless of where you're born in the world, your beliefs, the color of your skin, the gender that you wish to express, like, none of that needs to matter. We all have a right to thrive on this planet. That is my 2026 vibe and beyond. And I just say, viva la revolution. But bringing it back to me and my business, like that for me is the collective energy, the collective intention. But bringing it back to me, what are my 2026 vibes? So I want to say this, guys. One of the things I feel like, the dance between doing and allowing, having a plan, having a strategy, and just being open to the possibility of what is to come your way. Because I'm always like, you know, regardless of whether Mercury's in retrograde or it's forward momentum in January, I always like the turning of the year. And this solstice period, which I'm recording this podcast on, as like moment of reflection and looking out to the year ahead as a sea of possibility, and that being exciting, that there are so many unknowns yet to come my way. There are people that I'm yet to meet. There are opportunities and experiences that I'm yet to have that I've got no idea that are coming, like, and that's exciting. And just being open to all of that, but also having a plan based on, you know, the dream I want to make real. So then you're going to ask yourself, what is the dream? And then when someone says that, and I've been guilty of this, we can go into like perhaps thinking we've got to come up with some big grand dream that feels a long way off, right? And then doesn't feel possible. And then we're like frozen in inaction. And for me, 2026 isn't about getting smaller, but it's about really honing in, focusing on those micro actions, those repeated patterns and actions that I can take to move in the direction of travel, to be open to the fact that what I envisage I want actually is going to shift and change. What do I know? What do I know to be true at this moment? What do I want at this moment in time? And focus on that. And one of the things that I've been sharing in this podcast, and you've been loving it, so I'm going to carry on, that I have been really shifting in since September is learning to lift weights, really addressing my perimenopausal weight gain, which has really started to, like, you know, do you know what? I wouldn't say it massively got me down, like, I'm mindset wise, like, I'm going to, you know, bit of extra pounds here and there. I'm not going to let it stop me from doing things, but it was getting in the way of surfing, for example, and popping up and just moving around my everyday life. It was starting to get in the way, and I've got lots of lovely clothes that don't fit me anymore. I don't want to buy new ones, right? And I know as you get old, your body shifts, but like I'd hit a point weight wise as well. It wasn't healthy, and I know the long-term health implications, and it didn't feel like my body. So I've been lifting weights. I've been really focusing on eating well and having lots of, like, I'm going to say success there. Like, my shoulder pain is like massively reduced. Shoulder range of motion is almost there. I'm going to say like 90% back. And yeah, as I'm recording this podcast, I've lost well over a stone. I'm on course for like a stone and a half now. And I'm just like, you know how I've done this, guys? And this has been the thing, I think, that has blown my mind. And this is my 2026 5, right? This is my 2026 5. I have done this by doing nothing complex, nothing fancy, other than sticking to aiming to eat around about 1,600 calories a day. So just counting my calories and aiming to be in a small calorie deficit. Okay, that simple. Tracking what I eat, tracking my calories where possible, not getting, you know, restrictive, or I can't go out and I can't do this, but just doing like 80% of the time, sticking to that and just paying attention to what I eat. All right, so that's been the first thing. Then the other thing is I've moved more and then I've done new movement. I've started to do weights, and I know as a woman age 47, weightlifting is really important for both muscle and bone health. And that has been it. That literally has been it. I am eating less, moving more, and doing new movement and doing weights. Oh, and I paid for a PT, a coach, to see me every week, to hold me accountable, right? And it is so simple. It is so simple. It doesn't require me to fast at certain times, exclude certain foods, do certain, you know, certain like hardcore movements at certain times. It has been just a simple plan of repeatable, simple actions. And there have been weeks where I haven't lost weight. There have been weeks when my weight's crept up a bit. There have been weeks where my shoulder's not been so good. But and there's been weeks where nothing's changed. It just stayed consistently the same. And then there's been weeks where I felt amazingly better, where I've had like consistent weight loss. And what it's taught me is, in the weeks where perhaps particularly where my weight might have gone up slightly and I'm just feeling really tired and I'm feeling like it's not working, because I haven't deviated. I've stayed focused on the simple repeated plan, talking to myself here, Amy, that I have long-term lost weight, long-term moved in the direction of travel, making the dream real, which one of my 2026 goals that I know I definitely want, I've put to be the physically healthier version of myself. That is one of my 2026 goals. To, like, it's not like even to like a return to my pre-baby weight. I am driven by weight loss. I'm not driven by a specific weight, just to be a healthy weight, to not be obese, to not be overweight, to just be a healthy weight. That is, it's not even like a destination other than that. But to be the physically healthiest version of myself is 100% one of my 2026 goals and targets and intentions and vibe, whatever word you want to use. But I am taking that focus on what you want. Okay, I want to be the physically healthiest version of myself. Reverse engineer a simple, actionable, achievable plan and stick to it, regardless of what's going on around you. Because that's been the other thing. There's been weeks where, you know, I don't know, something's gone wrong, whatever, like something's gone wrong, and I easily could have gone, I can't do this week, I can't show up to see my coach, my PT this week. Honestly, I could have found the excuse. I'm tired, I'm during my period, I didn't sleep great, work's busy, my little girl's been struggling at school. Like, just honestly, I could have found an excuse to like not attend half of it. I just attended every week. Just commit and stay focused. So that is my intention for 2026. Now, when I've been looking at the year, Yes, I have looked at the astrology. And can I just say, I've been listening I pay for the Charlie Nichols, and I do really recommend, no affiliate link here, I just recommend that you do it, guys. And I've been listening to my Cancer rising sign for the year, and it's really interesting actually that since June of 2025 I've had Jupiter expands in my first house of public profile, professions, how I show up and appear in the world, reputation. And like, yeah, this year I have very much been about, I'm just going to continue to show up on my podcast. I'm just going to continue to show up on my Substack. I'm just going to continue to show up on social media. And I'm going to repeat how bloody good I am as a business strategist, business mentor, how much experience and wealth of knowledge that I've got, and how, like, you know, trustworthy and big-hearted I am in a coaching industry where it isn't always the case. And that carries on for the first half of 2026. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then Jupiter moves into my second house of Leo in the middle of the year, which is finances, what you do with your money, and I'm like, I'm liking this vibe. But funny enough, listening to it, because there's some things that are close in my heart that I would really love to happen into 2026. Yes, I'd love my profile. I'd love more people to know about this podcast and be listening to it. I'd love more people to know about me. I'd be absolutely love to be one of the go-to business strategists and mentors for female founders in the industry. I would love more people on my mailing list. I'd love way more people in my new 12-month coaching program, Momentum Frequency. I'd love way more people to buy my 4-week programs when I run them. I'd love, you know, way more people to be queuing up to get into my mastermind and one-to-one offers, although I have to say they are almost full. So one of the things I'm also doing next year in 2026 is putting my prices up. Not from a place of I'm full now, London, put my prices up, but I haven't put my prices up for 12 months. Like, cost of living's gone up. Plus, I had one of my one-to-one clients message me going, Amy, honestly, you need to put your prices up. What you offer is amazing. And it's like, when you one-to-one clients who are the people paying you the most tell you that, you're like, okay. So again, if you're listening to this before, first of all, mastermind, if you're listening to this before the 12th of January 2026 and you'd like to be part of my 6-month Your Purpose Mastermind, early bird price ends on the 12th of January. Next year, 2026, is the only year in January that you can come in. The program will run again in 2027. It's one of my signature programs. It's a thing I love doing the most. But at the moment, I'm not going to be reopening it in the summer of 2026. My little girl's transitioning into secondary school, and energetically I want to be available for that. So next time the doors open to my mastermind will be 2027, and I will let you know. It will be more expensive than where you see it now. Okay, 12 months would have passed to start with, but definitely undercharging for what people get in that. So come on in, guys. That's a great time. And then my one-to-one prices, I have one space for a 6-month one-to-one client. And in January, 2 spaces for 2 attract clients, which is my 4-week program. And just to let you know, the prices in those programs are rising as of Tuesday, the 20th of January. So, like, if you've been hovering around thinking, I'd love to work with Amy in 2026 or join my mastermind, be one of my one-to-one clients, like, honestly, I'm really asking you to commit and take action. That is the vibe in 2026. Like, let's commit. Let's focus on the actions that we need to take to make the dream real. And like, honestly, my darling, I probably need to get this tattooed somewhere. You're not meant to do this entrepreneurial stuff alone. And if you look at my mastermind and one-to-one prices and they're just not possible for you, okay, please pay attention to next time the doors to my Momentum Frequency open, because that is for you. And that is equally amazing and supportive, and is 12 months of ongoing support. So going back to my 2026 vibes. So when we are unsure, like, I would always start with what you definitely know. So what do I know I don't want to do? What am I not taking into 2026 with me? And what do I know that I want? So I absolutely know that I want to be physically the best version of myself, and I need to create space for that. I absolutely know that my daughter is transitioning into secondary school, and it might be a breeze. But she hasn't found primary school easy since year 3. So can I just say, if it's a breeze, that will be a miracle. And again, availability for that. Alongside that, like, you know, my children are moving into their preteen years, and you're feeling like that childhood at the time where they want to hang out with you is slipping away, and I just really want to be there for them, and I want to go on holidays more with them. And interesting, it's really weird, well, weird, but it's no coincidence. There are no coincidences that Jupiter's moving into my second house. In I think it's in June, July, of finances and money and how we use that resources. Because on my list here of 2026 intentions is to just be more savvy with money, to just, you know, I talk a lot about, as you know, guys, how to do what lights you up and make money. And your skills as a service-based business, someone who creates products, your skills as a female founder, female entrepreneur, absolutely a stream of income that you can use to make money. It's not the only way, right? And currently millionaires have 7 streams of income, but I tell you what, we can learn from the 1%, the elite, is they're using money to make money for them. So investments and savings and being clever with their money. And I've written that down, right? Because I do truly believe a world where there is more money in the hands of big-hearted humans. It's the world that we want to call in. And like, I'm like, if they can do it, do it too. I might be starting a little bit further behind than them. I mean, I'm talking about the 1%, the billionaire oligarchy class here. But I have written down that I want to be more intentional with my money. And that's like a really big energetic shift from the effort that I had back in January of 2025. So there is very clear intentions on what I want to call in. What are the actions that I'm going to take? And what I've done, interestingly, is and I do this every year, but I feel like I've been more intentional this year. I've got my 2026 diary. Thank you, Good Tuesday. I love Good Tuesday stuff. I've got my 2026 wall planner. I have absolutely listened to the astrology, and I don't look, as above, so below, co-creation. So if it's Mercury in retrograde, look, I'm not going to make it mean that I can't do things, but listening to the astrology, the energy of the time, and thinking about when I might want to be doing certain things. But I'm committing next year. And I think this is definitely lessons from where in October and November went crazy on throwing spaghetti at the well. I'm asking myself this: if I commit to repeated actions in my business for 12 months, what does that look like? And what do I mean by that? That I've got 2 amazing short courses. Soul-led success formula, ideas to action. They are brilliant. I don't need to create anything more. I just need to sell them. All right. And then in December this year, we did the Reset and Review Masterclass, and I love that. And I've used what I've done in that myself personally. It's been really impactful. I know everyone who attended it found it amazing. And I'm like, why are we doing this at the end of every year? Why don't we do it at the end of every quarter? So I'm integrating that into my momentum frequency, quarterly resets and reviews. And I'm like, but this is an opportunity for a free event to be incorporated into a free event, perhaps even a launch event. And again, what if I just repeat these, and these become the things that I'm known for? And this is, you know, human design, generate and manifesting generators. I'm not asking us, right, or, you know, entrepreneurs, creatives, full stop. I'm not asking us to shut down space for creativity. I'm absolutely leaving wide open some questions of, do I want to do this? I think I might. Do I want to do this? I think I might. I'm going to wait to respond. There's space in the calendar for new opportunities to come through. But there is also a very structured, simple, repeatable pattern to the way I'm going to work in 2026, which focus purely on growing the audience, nurturing and nurture bombing the audience that I have got, massively showing up for my clients across the whole range of whether they're all my one-to-one, my mastermind clients, or people have come in at lower cost offers, massively showing up and serving for them, and seeing where that leads me in 12 months' time. I cannot wait to share to my 2026 debrief with you while I'm manifesting, Amy. Yeah. But this is it. I'm taking what I've learned from my, my physical weight loss goals and health goals. I'm taking what I've learned from that and applying it to my business, because I feel like I went into like the whole weight training and weight loss. I went in with it with, I'm going to apply what the mindset work that I've got from my yoga practice, from being self-employed for 17 years. I'm going to apply that to this. And that's absolutely what I have done. I've been like, this is a long game thing. This is not going to happen overnight. There are going to be things that go wrong, things that go right. I'm going to have weeks where, I feel like I'm going backwards, and I'm going to have weeks where I surge forward. It's not going to be a straight line, and I'm not going to enjoy everything. And there's going to be some stuff that I've just got to do, like, oh my God, lunges, right? That I don't massively enjoy, but the results of those actions I am going to enjoy. If anybody loves a weighted lunge, can you let me know? So I'm taking what I learned from that physical activity and the work I've done with Rhiannon. I'm taking that into my business. So, and I feel like one part of me, like, I'm like, oh, I'm being a bit lazy, and like I could work harder. And there's another part of me that I'm like, but I need energetic space for continuing shoulder rehab, continuing working my health goals, and continuing to support the needs of my my children, my family, my needs. And actually, have I 4 years done what most women do in business, which is over deliver and undercharge? And when someone gives you money, feel like you need to go massively out of your way to just prove your worth. Like, yeah, of course I have. Of course I have. Yeah, and probably will continue to do so. I still stand by the fact that one of our greatest strengths is we are people before profit, purpose before profit. But if we want to sustainably serve, then being in profit is essential, is required. Plus, more money in our hands is a good thing. And I wrote down some questions. I wrote, like, you are the fire force. Focus on what you do want. Focus on how to get there, and focus on what matters. Simple, repeatable actions. That's what I've got written down in the start of my diary. And the other thing that I've got written down, I'm not going to read them out, actually, sorry, because they're a bit personal to me. And we share from, we don't have to share everything, but I've written questions to be answered this year. And that is new for me, right? Because I would actually, like, some of these questions, I would be like, well, I need to know the answer to that. And anyway, it's not that cryptic. I'll share one of you. Do I need to launch? Is one of the questions. So I spent 2023, end of 2022, all of 2023, most of 2024, like in launch cycles, launching my Prosperous Yogini mentorship program. And, it was great. It got people into the program. It definitely increased my turnover of my yoga business. It massively increased my email list. But in the end, I got a bit like tired of these launch cycles. And when you are in like a full-blown launch, and I'm not talking like, like a quick launch or anything like that, I'm talking like a real planned out launch. It's going to be here, it's in my calendar, I'll start seeding it here, I'll do the freebie launching here, and then I'll open the cart. Like that proper thing that takes, it feels like it takes about 8 weeks of your life, 2 months of your life. And I think the challenge was that I did launch in my new business, the Energy, Mindset, Money and More course, in September of 2024. And the time of launching the freebie, my birthday, Lucy just had this complete, my little girl had this complete like meltdown over over going to school, and I was like, I can't launch anymore, I can't do this, because there's too many external variables that, you know, on a day-to-day basis may go haywire, which means putting myself under pressure of the launch doesn't work for me. And I'm like, is that true? And I don't know. And there are 2 points in the calendar next year where I've passed astrological muster, shall we say. No, yes, shall we say, that is true. There's 2 points in the calendar next year where, if I wanted to put some energy, put some Facebook ads behind a launch, that it would work. And can I launch in a way that allows me to have a bad day, my child to not be very well, and still sustain the energy of the launch? Or there are plenty of people with really successful business models that aren't doing that launch. The only thing I do know to be true is email list growth is king. Oh, I would say word of mouth is king, right? And massively showing up for the people that give you money is king. Like, word of mouth is king, referral and retention is king, email list growth is queen. Right? I'm not willing to argue on anything else. Those are the truths, right? And email list growth doesn't come from one singular endeavor like your best lead magnet ever. It comes from lots of actions, your organic actions. As your income turnover grows, I am very pro using a budget of £200 to £300 a month, £5 to £10 a day on email list growth. That is not going to be for all of you, and yes, it depends on where you are in terms of turnover and reinvestment of that turnover, and turnover versus profit. It's a delicate dance, and I can be testament to that, guys. You know, I've talked a lot, haven't I, about like how I nearly scaled my yoga business to the VAT threshold and changed my mind. I didn't change my mind, but I decided I didn't want to scale past that threshold with that business and that business model. And I want to tell you, the months where I was turning over in my yoga business like 7 to 8K in terms of profit, right, were not that much difference to the months where I was turning over 3 to 4K. That, you know, profit versus turnover, these people going on about their wonderful 6-7-figure businesses, and they're not talking to you about the cost involved in that, the support involved in that, the spending on ads to grow their audience involved in that. Like, I literally don't listen to them, guys. Like, the goal is not to have a 6 or 7-figure business. The goal is to have an energetically aligned business for you, to have the freedom. And so I've got some questions I don't know the answer to, and that's new for me. As I said at the end of last podcast, that 2025 has changed me for the good, because old Amy wants to control and know everything, and once would be like, right, well, I'm just going to have the answers to those questions, even if I don't actually truly know them myself. And I've written down here, you know, what even is the dream? And then I'm like, well, earn more, work less, do what lights me up, and make money. And actually, I was like, it's more than that. It is to have the freedom to choose how I direct my energetic currencies of time, money, and joy, autonomy over my energy. And I'm going to 2026 focus on the simple, repeatable actions that make the dream real. And that dream can shift, and those intentions can shift, but my simple, repeatable actions mean that shift, that change would be very easy to navigate. Well, hopefully, anyway. All right, my darlings. So 2026. I do want to make just one more sort of like call out to any of you listening to this podcast. Before the 12th of January, my Your Purpose Mastermind, 6 months of one-to-one support from me, yours truly, energetically transformational, frequency rising business retreat days in stunning locations, a small group of supportive women, monthly hot seat coaching and trainings. Like, it is the best thing I do, and I am really undercharging for it. So come in. There are 2 places left. And then if you'd like to work with me even more closely, so like my one-to-one, like you are a one-to-one client in my mastermind. If you'd like to be one of my 6-month one-to-one clients, like I literally become your business partner within the expansion program, and there's one space for that. And yet my one-to-one prices are going up as of the 20th of January. So don't delay in making that decision. And then finally, I do have a 4-week one-to-one track program. And that's really powerful. It's super focused. What is the one thing that you're already doing, that you've already got, that we can focus on, that we can really optimize? And that's what that track program does. And it's like, if 6 months, if masterminds, all of that feels a bit overwhelming, but like, let's just focus on this one thing that you already got, that you're already doing, that we optimize that to make the dream real, to focus on what actions you can take. Because listen, I don't want you working for hours. I don't want you working in ways that are energetically pointless or energetically unaligned. Let's stop leaking our energy. We're ladies, we're so powerful. If we're not leaking our energy on things that don't matter, oh my God, what difference will that make to the world? And then if my mastermind one-to-one stuff is not for you, please keep your eye peeled for when I'm opening the doors to my solid success formula, my ideas to actions, and my 4-week short programs. And also keep your eyes out for the momentum frequency, because that is definitely, and this is on my list, I am growing that out loud manifesting. That is definitely a place where I want to work more like that, because it optimizes my genius, my voice. It certainly optimizes my genius in terms of my years of experience. And then it just works works around energetically shifting landscapes of life. On that on that big statement there, I will wish you a happy new year. However we meet ourselves in 2026, me supporting you is me and my purpose. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support, for listening to podcasts, for all the downloads. Please continue to listen. Please continue to subscribe, save it as your favorite, comment wherever you're listening to this on, whether it be Spotify or Apple. Please share and tell your mates, because the other thing that happened in 2025 is this podcast continued to build. I have monetized my podcast now. It's not making a lot of money. As my downloads and my audience grows, it will make me more money. And I think we can all agree, more money in the hands like you and me is a good thing. And if you can support me by simply listening to my podcast and downloading that, then thank you so much. However we work together, I love you all. Have a lovely new year, and I'll be back in 2026, year of the fire horse. Let's bring it on.